Hi there. This is Jeffrey. Thank you for clicking on my video. I just spent about 10 minutes recording an audio with my mic off, so now I'm going to turn it on and start talking. I don't feel like saying all the beautiful information I was going to say the same way I did it, so I kind of want to change it up. A wonderful fan of mine requested a bit of a, not necessarily tutorial or guide, but he asked what I think about playing lane. I mainly think of these two or three things. You gotta auto space Hail of Blades. You have to be moving when you're stacking your passive. Use your W when you get into a bush or immediately on level 2 to surprise them. And then chain your Q and your W. That's pretty much it. The third tip that I have here in the beginning is you need to watch out for your W. So you can do the slow there into it. It's pretty true. Your W goes across terrain if you could do it on the other half of it. The circle is what knocks them up, not Tahm Kench. So if you do cast your W like halfway through terrain just for the movement, you're not going to get the knockup. And so I've got a bunch of examples of all this stuff throughout the video. I actually ended up playing against Otto Lycus, and he's the top laner, so I didn't really see him that much, but I've got a funny little clip in it later. I really love when I get to play against other content creators, and calling myself a content creator definitely feels weird. That's definitely kind of a weird identity, but I'm kind of trying to accept it. But it's very interesting to get their point of view too, so I did end up getting a little clip from his stream. Here's that level 2 I was talking about. The Twitch disrespected the space, so he ends up having to blow flash. You don't see him, but you see the flash particles there. We ended up getting a lot of attention from this jungler. He didn't make the best plays, and you can start to see his mental state somewhat unwind throughout this game. But our Draven ends up picking up an early kill. Our Sejuani, she gives us enough love to where we can actually make something out of the lane. Playing against things like Ashe and Twitch, they are very squishy and easy to kill, and you want to have a Draven when you're playing Hail of Blades Tahm Kench. Or things like Samira or other, high fee 80 carries. But the problem is if you ever miss like an execute or like a CC, you're going to be taking almost lethal damage. You're going to be taking a lot of damage. Luckily, Tahm Kench's E is really strong, but when you're only level 2, you take a lot of damage for missing abilities. So another kind of advanced tactic here is just never go through lane. As a support level 3+, you need to be kind of walking around the river and around the jungle, because players like this just autopilot to the river, and you're going to be picking up free kills the whole time. Here I actually hesitate because I was kind of nervous before the Pantheon landed, and he ends up CCing someone else, but I end up pulling the trigger with my W. I wish I would have pulled it a little faster, but that's okay. And then a classic example of overchasing. I mean, the Twitch really had a high value cleanse there, and our pig lady just probably shouldn't have queued under tower. But that's okay. We can't control that. So what I'm going to worry about is making good plays. I know the Twitch was on reset. I do my auto spacing after I hit my W, and easy peasy, get that turret dive. And then, oh, dude, this right here is the almost most important tip I can give a support player who plays engages. Never use your engage away from where the enemy's running. I should have just walked into her and then W'd if she flashed away or something. There was no use for my W there. So I'll be pointing that one out as many times as I can. I don't think there's really other examples of it in this game, but later on in other videos, I'll make sure to point that out. We need to give it a name or something. If anyone can think of a name for whenever you use your gap closers in the wrong direction, away from where they need to be, like away from the enemy's home, like if you're winning an exchange, we have to think of a name for that because it's such a incredible waste of resources. I was actually thinking about, I think novice players and beginner players, people that are kind of learning the ropes, they go through a certain process where they learn how to use their abilities. I think you need to learn all the different ways, scenarios, and timings of how to use your abilities. But I think what separates mid-level to high-level players, and there's definitely, I'm not at the top of this mountain, you know what I'm saying? So I believe it has something to do with when you don't use abilities. There's a certain like resource knowledge or something that is like the indicative of really high-level play. There I actually could have landed my W, but I hesitated on pulling the trigger again under tower because I was waiting for Sejuani. I love playing Ashe. Okay, so once again, I mean, y'all see me looking over these walls the whole time. My W's got another point in it. Just being there gets me the kill. Draven doesn't land a single auto and we still kill the Ashe because she's so squishy. Obviously, you would imagine that this would be a lot harder to start picks on a support that's a little tankier, like a Rel or something like that. She could probably withstand a lot more, but we're so ahead at this point that we need to be pulling the trigger as much as possible.
No, my mistake. I messed up. Oh. He ate me.
So we're on reset. We took our tower. We took dragon. We rotated up to the top side of the map because that's the last outer tower. That's the easiest goal to get. And I feel like Tahm Kench is this pick where when your team is in an advantage state and you're like moving around, you actually have so many pick potentials. Also, remember when I was just talking about not using certain abilities? For the record, if I hadn't have ulted Autolycus, I would have been able to save the Draven. So that is 100% my fault. That is an example of I used an ability, even though it was a good use. We got a kill. We got the tower. I definitely didn't need to use that. I don't think he had ult, and I wasted my ult in that situation. So a really good example of being punished for misuse of abilities or overuse of resources. Okay, so we're chasing into their jungle. Part of me wants to flash, but once again, you don't need to unnecessarily use certain resources. We're getting vision control. Here's an example of using a W on terrain. So I don't get the knock-up on Ashe, but I was actually able to get to that bush faster because I cast it halfway through the wall. And that's what's going to give you that macro movement, that ability to kind of shoot out in areas that you wouldn't normally be able to. This ult, I don't feel super good about, but you know, I got him out of there momentarily. I think if he would have walked straight down instead of into the bush, he wouldn't have taken Syndra damage here, but it's okay. We tried to sustain the fight as long as possible. I'm being chased down by the Barbarian. I mean, Olaf can't stop Tahm Kench. CC is the only thing that can stop his W. So if you're playing against someone that's more of like a damage dealer or like a bruiser that CC is down, you don't have to worry about getting out. And since my health is kind of low, I'm trying to engage. I whiff, but I'm just creating space. It's not really about hitting abilities in these situations. It's just about kind of baiting them into getting to you. You don't have to hit your abilities all the time, even though I might just be talking a good game because I've just whiffed. But I think the Olaf used Go, so maybe maybe it was worth it. Anyways, I just want to give another shout out to my buddy Mr. Hothead that gave me the the recommendation of making this video. It really means a lot when y'all kind of participate and give me your thoughts. I was able to hit 117 LP Masters, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully we can get to 150. That's our next our goal. So I'll see you in the next one.